Action.
Action. Welcome to the show, Kristen. I'm going to roll the logo and then we'll get into it.
All right.
Welcome. I understand you have a film on Reveel'd.
I do. Thanks so much for having me. I'm excited to finally join the Reveel'd Club with the rest of my pals.
Yeah, it is like a small family growing into a very big extended family on reveeledmovies.com. Snowflake. I saw this the day it premiered. It was recommended to me on the homepage of Reveel'd, and I checked it out, and I was thoroughly surprised and enjoyed the whole thing. Sometimes I see something with a preteen protagonist in it, and I think that's not going to speak to me at all, but it's a wonderful, charming little story. So maybe tell us first what the film is about in your own words.
Yeah, thank you. So it's really at its heart about a 9-year-old girl finding her voice through hip hop music. It has been a long journey for me. I actually had the idea many years ago, and the character was actually older, and it wasn't until years later through development that I met this young woman, Ava, young girl at the time. Ava was 7 when I met her, and she really was my inspiration to revisit the story and tell that story through the eyes of a younger character. So here we are. We shot the film in 2016, and yeah, thank you so much for your words of encouragement and love and support. Yeah, it definitely is one of those movies that speaks to everyone. I didn't realize how many people it would touch, but I guess the theme is universal, and that's probably why.
Live your dreams and don't be afraid to be who you are. So when you say that Ava inspired you to kind of get back into the idea of the story, did you meet her through the acting community? Like how did you meet Ava?
Yeah, actually, I was asked to be a judge at a pageant, which is not normally my thing. And I said, sure, a little community support. And so there I was on a Friday night sitting in this theater, and out came this young girl, and she was rapping and singing and dancing her heart out. And at the time I had kind of moved on and was focused on another project. And here in front of me as the creator of this story was the character that I thought up in my head. And so it was really magical. I had never thought to tell the story through the eyes of a younger character. My character was in college. It was a little more female version of 8 Mile. And so when I saw her on the stage, I remember the next day I reached out to the woman who ran the pageant. I said, I need to meet this little girl. I need to talk to her parents. There's a reason. And a week later, I sat down with Ava and her parents, and I kind of explained to them that I had this project and that, I wasn't ready at the moment because I needed to kind of re-envision it, if you will. And so 2 years later, we did. But for the next, from the day I met her, over the course of the next 2 years, I would go to her shows. She was a hustler. The girl had been rapping since she was 5 years old. She had opened the Kiss concert. She was just a performer at heart. She was just a natural. So it made it really easy to kind of re-envision it when you have somebody to draw inspiration off of too. I think that's unique. And so that was really kind of special for us. And then we went on to kind of go to festivals together. And so it was cool to see her from 7 to now she's 14. And we've kind of been through this journey together. That's been pretty awesome.
So Ava's character, Jessie, was the character always going to be a hip hop artist, or was it just like a singer when you originally thought of it?
No, she was always hip hop. I had the idea one day, don't laugh, as I walked the walls at Blockbuster. I know I'm dating myself here, but one day I was walking the walls and I was like, why are there no stories about females doing hip hop? And then also, why not a white female? I was a little ahead of my time because I went to grad school to write the script. And the fall that I was at school was when 8 Mile came out. So I actually had the idea before I even knew really who Eminem was. It was just kind of something that struck me. So Ava was doing hip hop. My character was hip hop. It was always hip hop. I grew up loving hip hop. No, I never wanted to be a rapper. Everybody always asked me that, but it just spoke to me as like the unexpected at the time. Now it's a little more mainstream, but at
She's
the time.
such a star in this movie, who and really does an amazing job of making you believe that the rap that she's delivering, especially towards the end, is 100% freestyle. Like there's such a naturalness to her.
Yeah.
Is who wrote the music for the song? Who wrote the actual raps?
Yeah. So a little secret in the bucket drummer scene, the gentleman who does the rap is the music supervisor who wrote all of the lyrics for Jessie and her character. Ava also writes herself. She kind of grew into that when we wrote when we were doing the film. She wasn't really at that point yet. She is now, and she's expressing herself and writing her own material, but really Clep. His name is Keith Napier, AKA we call him Clep. And he really brought Jessie's voice to life through that performance at the end. It was pretty awesome.
Now,
so, yeah.
So you wrote this. You had been in school for film and writing. Is this the first project that you produced?
So it's everybody calls it my baby. It's not the first short that I produced, but it was the biggest production. We shot it in 5 days. I had a crew of like 30 people. You'll notice when the credits roll, the names just go on and on and on. So it was quite a production. I have done other short films, music videos. I've worked on other people's features. I came from the commercial marketing side, so I've worked on large commercial productions. So I have the experience, but it was really the first time as a creator bringing my characters and my vision to life with a team and really collaborating with them. So that was the unique part. And I decided I needed it to be my calling card. And so I didn't want to, no holds barred, like anything my DP will tell you. I was like, you tell me what you need, I'll figure out a way to get it. And that was really kind of
the best sort of producer to have, is somebody who's there. I think it's an interesting dynamic when it's a producer writer. There's not that all producers aren't passionate about their projects, but there's an extra depth when the story means something to you. You've written the words, you found this actress that, your full passion is in there, and then everybody else in the crew benefits because you want to see that passion go through. So that you're really there as like the best coach and best sort of linebacker to tackle all problems that are coming along and strategize how to get to that end goal.
Yeah. And I actually did not write this script. So I stopped writing after I went to grad school. I wrote one feature and then I put my typewriter down or my computer down because I actually don't enjoy the writing process. I'm a creator. I do development. So I actually had 2 writers that I work super close with, Angel Haney-Gillette and Rufus Chafee. I had actually worked on them on another project, and the 2 of them together really, they know my brain and how my brain works. So it was super collaborative. It still was my Jessie, just in the younger kind of way. But when you go from a college story to a middle school story, there's different themes, there's different issues, there's different things to kind of think about, which is when bullying came in. And, I didn't necessarily set out to make a movie about bullying, but that's kind of thematically and message wise what came out. So they were great in kind of challenging me and tweaking the story. So
but I think it's also something that most of us experience growing up. We can all relate to even just mild bullying, and sort of how that can stifle your voice, make you feel smaller, make you not want to be as outgoing. And there's a real sadness in me thinking that could actually affect somebody's life down the road, that they might not pursue their dreams because of how they were treated when they were young, and this sort of mindset that could be instilled. So I think these are very important stories to tell, and it does feel very organic to your movie. It doesn't feel, oh, we got to add in a bullying message here. It just feels very organic to the character. And something about hip hop in particular is, I feel like a lot of people in the hip hop genre, like they're coming from wanting to speak a truth, speak a story. They're coming from a point of hardship, and I think it's very organic that for the character of Jessie, it's there in her daily life. It's not just I know she's from a broken home and things of that nature, but it just felt like it really added that extra element to where this sort of like voice, her inner voice and her lyrics are coming from.
Yeah. Well, it's like that scene when her dad says, "You don't know who you are." Like every time I hear that line of dialogue, I'm like, ugh. Like, I think as kids, we all, like you said, have experienced or witnessed or whatever, we've all been a part of that. We don't fit in, or we are a little different than the other, or we like something. I remember years ago when we were first developing this, one of the writers that we were working with, he was like a little frustrated because people kept asking, well, why hip hop? Why hip hop? And he's like, why do I like cheese pizza? Why can't I like hip hop? Like, there doesn't have to be some glaring reason why you choose a certain type of music, certain type of art, whatever. It's just art. It's creativity. It's what speaks to us. It's, why do I like a certain color? Why do you like that red hat? Which, by the way, I love that hat. I need to figure out where to get a copy, get one of those.
I'll hook you up. I'll hook you up.
Yeah. Well, and it's like, why not hip hop, right? It's like traditionally, oh, it's Black music, or like that doesn't make sense to me. And it was another message that just needed to come through. And I'm glad that you felt it was organic, because we all discussed at the beginning, we didn't want to make a bullying movie per se. It just was one of the things that came through, and follow your voice is kind of what we try to stand for with the movie. And when we've showed it to audiences, we actually started showing it at schools. And that was when I had this real epiphany that, you know what, I really like going to film festivals and sitting with filmmakers and doing Q&A, and that's all great. But the real impact that we can have is actually sitting here with these young minds and these young kids who are not only inspired by Ava, because Ava was also a victim of bullying, which was, again, something I found out during, actually, I don't think I found out until like after filming that she had also struggled with it, which made it that much more impactful when we were going to schools and she was able to kind of talk to kids and they would relate to her. You might have thought I was bringing Beyonce to the school when we showed up with Ava, because they just couldn't wrap their heads around the fact that they had seen this girl in a movie, and now here she was on the stage talking to them and hanging out with them and taking photos with them. And it just felt really good when we would leave. It felt like, oh, this is what we're supposed to be doing. We're supposed to be inspiring and touching these kids, and not realizing, for me anyway, that I was also inspiring them, because kids would come up and say, Miss Lucas, where did you get the idea for the movie? And how did you do it? And it was just really awesome to have something.
You're striking a lot of chords. You've got a great social justice message. You have a great family message where parents will get equal value out of it from kids, but also different values. It opens up discussion for parents and kids, for teachers and students. And the movie's just like steeped in female empowerment as well, like behind the camera and in front of the camera.
Yeah. So it was pretty awesome. We were actually getting to the point where we were getting hired by schools, or sometimes it's the police that have like an anti-bullying league at the school. And then COVID hit. So then we started to do events virtually. But we really had started to go to school, show the film, do a little chat, and kind of go down that kind of lane of leaning in on that and just sharing the film. And now we have distribution, which is great. And more people can see it. So I'm super excited about that, because COVID kind of shut down our whole, like, let's go to schools across the country. But yeah,
by being on, revealmovies.com, like you say, especially during a time of COVID, you get to find a whole new audience for the film that you wouldn't have had. What's the reception been? What's the sort of second wave of reception been since it's been on Reveal? Like, what do people say the most to you about this film?
Yeah, it's been really awesome. I've gotten, private messages from people that have seen it and have wanted to watch it with their children and really kind of touch them in a way that they weren't expecting. Everyone thinks, oh, it's a movie about a little girl and there's a bullying lane. Okay, I'm going to watch it with my kid. But then not realizing that thematically it touched them in a way and maybe inspired them to pursue something that maybe they hung up or didn't, kind of pursue for whatever reason. We all put things on hold for different reasons, children and adults. And so really just having it be an inspirational film for everybody has been really powerful, especially during this time, right? Let's just be honest. We've been on lockdown and we all just need that human connection. And I think that also music is one of those things that is universal and can connect people and just really be a powerful thing. So I'm excited to kind of see where we go next with the Snowflake universe. We're in the process of kind of.
Can I pitch you?
Yeah. Sorry. I'm like jumping ahead.
No. I'm going to pitch you the Flaker Verse.
Ooh, the Flaker Verse. I love it.
Got a good ring.
I love it. Yeah, I have to. I can see like shirts and the whole like.
There you go. Yeah. Speaking of which, before we get to that, have you had a chance to check out anything else on Reveel'd? Is there anything you can recommend to viewers that they should watch when they visit reveelmovies.com?
Yeah, well, of course, I've been watching all the episodes of Reveel'd. I love what you're doing with it. It's super fun. It gave me an opportunity to meet some other folks, but also to see some films from even some people that I knew pretty well, but they had more things like in the vault. And so, of course, all the Fat Foot films are super fun. I love Stray, and that's kind of my favorite lately. But I've really been exploring during my downtime and gotten to see some other short films. There's just so much good content on the site that it's pretty awesome that we have.
I politely bullied those gentlemen into getting me a Fat Foot films.
I did too. I'm waiting.
I went in on that. I'm like, why don't I have my own brand?
I'm waiting for my hoodie. So,
yours.
Yeah.
So exactly. Speaking of the Flaker Verse, there is something upcoming very soon that ties into this short film. If you want to tell people about it.
Yeah. Well, and speaking of organic, again, it was something that happened super organically. I always say, had I planned any of this, it would not have worked out this way. So during lockdown, we started doing these virtual events, and we were hired by the Worcester Public Library, of all places, to kind of kick off their summer reading program. And as a marketing person and a producer, I thought, well, isn't that a shame that I don't have a book to be promoting while we're doing this event? And so we started to explore it. I met somebody actually listening to the Gary Vee show, because I'm always networking. And before I knew it, we had a children's book that is inspired by the film, and it is going to be coming out. It's actually out now. You can like pre-order the Kindle, but then the book releases June 4th, I think is the date right now. So the book is called Follow Your Voice. You can pre-order it, like I said, on Amazon. You could also go to followyourvoice.com. That's my whole universe there that we got going on. And so, yeah, we're super excited. We're also going down the path, because like once we saw the animation, the illustration, I was like, maybe this should be an animated series too. And so we are exploring it. I have some pretty cool connections to some way up high animation people. And so we're going to get a meeting and see if they're interested.
Something in that animated space and in the book space, you can keep, if it's following Jesse's character, you can keep her the age you want forever. I mean, the Simpsons have had Bart Simpson in second grade for 30 years. So
exactly.
What about a sequel? You said Ava's 15-ish now. I mean, we only get to see the beginning and the budding start of her film career. Why not a short that follows up? You can be like the Richard Linklater Before trilogy, where he does one every 9 years. You could pick up with the character of Jesse every 7 years.
Yeah. So we actually have been talking about a TV series. We've done a little bit of work down that path. It could also be a feature. We also talked about, okay, well, do we do a feature, but now she's in high school? And so all of the things are on the table. Because we do think that there's a lot of strength in the character, in the world, in the music, in the female voice. That's what the market's looking for now. So yes, we're exploring all of that. So stay tuned.
Awesome.
But yeah, super excited.
Well, that's it. We like to keep these things short and sweet. And I recommend to everybody to go check out Snowflake on reveelmovies.com. If you're watching this outside of Reveel'd, you don't need a credit card. You don't need to pay anything to sign up. You just sign up and get to watch a whole bunch of amazing content. They're adding new stuff constantly, to the point that I was trying to watch everything in the Reveel'd cinematic universe, and I can't keep up, which is a great thing, because it means there's just unlimited options of what you can watch. But Kristen, it's been great to get to know you through our, we met through Reveel'd. It's always fun to discuss projects with you, and you have a real passion for telling these stories. And I think that's incredibly important in a producer. And what the world needs is movies with a message from people who really believe in the message they're trying to tell it. So I thank you for being here today with us.
Thank you.
All right, we'll talk soon.
All right, we will. Bye.